How to recognize a high value man, part 3. Hi angels, welcome back to another video. My name is Amira and I teach women femininity and queen consciousness. In this video I share with you a list of characteristics and traits you will find in a high value man. Bear in mind, this is my own list and it is extremely long, so I've broken it down into 3 video parts. You can find part 1 and 2 in the description below. So the first characteristic of a high value man is that he treats other people with respect and with kindness, even though he has nothing to gain. Okay, so be mindful when you are out. How does he treat other people in public? How does he treat waiters, doormen, people getting your car at the valet? How does he treat these people? Okay, is he nice to them? Is he kind to them? Does he speak to them with respect? Okay, that is a high value man. He respects himself enough to treat others with respect as well. The next characteristic is that his energy is consistent, meaning he doesn't play games. He doesn't have time to play games, okay? You know where you stand with him at all times. He isn't hot and cold. He isn't on and off with you, okay? You know exactly where you stand with him. If he is upset about something, he will tell you why. Okay, other than that, he is consistent in his energy towards you. He doesn't have feelings of happiness one day and then the next day he's angry at you for something and then the next day he's resentful about something else. No, if he has an issue, he brings it up immediately and he sorts it out and it is done with. Okay, other than that, his energy is consistent every single time you interact. The next characteristic is that he is not afraid to walk away. Ouch, I know that hurts. We want a man that's going to cling on to us and is never going to leave us. However, that smells of desperation. And I don't know about you, but I don't want a desperate man. Okay? So a high value man is not afraid to walk away. Not from you or not from anyone. Not from a business opportunity. Not from anything or anyone that no longer serves a purpose in his life. Okay? He's not desperate for attention. He's not desperate for a relationship. He's not desperate for money. He's not desperate for anything. And that is extremely attractive. I'm sure you will agree with me. Okay? So someone who is not afraid to walk away. The next characteristic is that he speaks up for himself and others. Okay, so firstly, he speaks up for himself, meaning he is not going to settle for less than he wants or less than he deserves. If he's in a restaurant and he gets cold food, he is not going to be quiet about it. He will respectfully say, please take my food back to the kitchen and warm it for me, or whatever the situation is. He is not afraid to speak up for himself. And he is not afraid to speak up for others. So if he sees somebody else being oppressed, someone weaker being bullied, or anything like that, he will respectfully stand up for them as well. This is an alpha male. This is somebody who takes care of himself and takes care of others as well. The next characteristic is that he dresses intentionally. There is nothing more attractive than a man who dresses well. And that doesn't mean he needs to wear designer brands or the most expensive clothing. But what I'm saying is he takes his appearance into consideration and he dresses intentionally. He dresses for the occasion. He dresses for where he wants to be in life. Okay, so he is not going to walk around in shorts and flip-flops every single day. He's not going to show up to a board meeting or a business meeting wearing flip-flops and socks. He's not going to wear a golfer t-shirt with holes in it to meet important people. He's not going to take you out on a date wearing slippers and pajama pants. Okay? He dresses intentionally. This is important because it also shows that he values himself enough to look and want to look his best. The next characteristic is that he is strategic and he calculates his moves. Okay? He is strategic. So in business, in his personal life, in his relationships, everything he does is because he has an end goal in sight. He doesn't just do things because he feels like it's time to do things or he wants to do things or he's following trends or he's listening to other people. He does things strategically because it is part of his bigger plan. Okay, somebody who calculates his moves and does things strategically in his life is somebody with discipline and somebody who has goals and visions and purpose that he is living out. And it is something you will find in a high value man. The next characteristic is that he is not a people pleaser. He does not concern himself with the opinions of others, what they think of him, what he can do to make them feel better. No, he is not a people pleaser. He puts himself and his needs above what other people think of him or what they expect of him. Okay, he is not afraid to say no to people if what they are requiring or requesting of him does not serve him, or if it is not putting his own needs first. Okay, so he also doesn't need validation from others. If he is not afraid to say no, and if he's not afraid of what other people think or say of him, and he's not afraid to not be a people pleaser, that means he doesn't need the validation of others to thrive. He is a warm-blooded animal, and he can regulate how he feels on the inside without other people's validation. The next characteristic, he is a effective communicator. Now, I didn't say perfect communicator, and I didn't say extremely effective communicator. I said he's an effective communicator, meaning he puts in the effort to communicate as best as he can. He's constantly working on improving his communication skills and communicating with you so that you can understand each other in a good way. Okay, he is constantly working on his own communication skills in his personal life, in his business life, in all aspects of his life. And he is someone who values communication enough to know that communication is what builds relationships. If there was perhaps a miscommunication between the two of you, he will actively put in the work to get to the bottom of it. Okay, he will clear up the miscommunication, he will clear up the misunderstanding, and he will fix it. He will make you feel better, and he will do better next time by not repeating those mistakes. The next characteristic is that he believes in himself, even when others don't believe in him. This is important because we as individuals are always looking for somebody to support us, somebody to tell us they are proud of us, somebody to say, you know what, you're doing a good job. But we don't always have that. We don't always have somebody that's cheering us on, that's a cheerleader in our corner, that is making us feel like we are doing something good, okay? So it is important that we believe in ourselves. And we believe in ourselves enough to go after what we want, whether people support us or not. And that is a characteristic you will find in a high value man, somebody who believes in himself. The next characteristic is that he does what he says he is going to do. There is nothing worse than a broken promise, for me at least. I hate it when somebody says they're going to do something or promises something to me and doesn't deliver. That for me is a deal breaker. Okay, so a high value man does what he says he is going to do. Obviously, depending on situations and circumstances, sometimes things come up. Sometimes things happen that don't allow other things to happen. Maybe he promised to take you on a holiday on the weekend for a weekend away, and all of a sudden he got ill. He is sick in bed and now he cannot go. So that is not really a broken promise, but that is something unforeseen that came up that is out of his control. And hopefully he will fulfill that promise when he is up to it. But what I'm talking about is somebody who makes excuses like, oh, well, I forgot that I said I was going to do that, and then he still doesn't do it. Or somebody who says, well, I wasn't really serious when I told you that. I just said that for this and this reason, or whatever, okay? Somebody who doesn't keep their promises, to me, I don't want nothing to do with you. Because if you don't have the integrity to do what you are saying you are going to do, I'm sure you don't have integrity in a lot of other aspects of your life as well, okay? So be mindful of that, ladies. And most importantly, One of the characteristics of a high value man is that he stops and listens when you are in pain. Okay, it doesn't always have to be physical pain. Sometimes it is physical pain. But I want somebody who is going to stop and listen when I'm in pain. When I have a bad day, does he listen? When I have a sore tooth, does he comfort me? When I am not feeling my best, does he listen? When I have a fight with somebody important in my life, does he comfort me? I'm not saying that you should be needy and expect him to be there 24/7, but on the odd occasion where you really need him to be there for you, to be your shoulder to cry on, to be your rock, to be your stability, you want him to be there. And you want him to be there because he wants to be there. Okay, so that is one of the characteristics of a high value man. He stops and listens when you are in pain. And I promise you, if you have that in a man, you will be able to overlook a lot of other things. Okay, not that you should ever settle, but I'm just saying. So if you haven't watched part 1 or 2 yet of this series, I will link it in the description, or you can click here and here. Also click here, this round icon, to subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.